featuring Professor Ken and Reek in the Lion's Den.
Once again, hey, you know who it is and what it is. It's the Lion's Den with Professor Ken and none other than the Master of Ceremony, Reek. What's going on with you, Ken?
Man, quarantine, Professor Ken, 107-8-12, oxygen, straight, ventilator on deck, water on deck, soup on deck. That's how it was with Ice-T. I call Ice-T, man. He was like, man, I'm quarantined, man.
Right. Do you got your toilet paper?
yeah, man. Toilet paper on deck. You know, hand wipers, sanitizer, Lysol, the whole ball of wax, man. You know, I call Ice-T. That's what he said, man. He said, man, I'm quarantined, Ken. And what's so crazy about the quarantine thing was, you know, we're doing the making of a celebrity autobiography. We was on our way to New York. We was going to film Corey Wise and Ice and, you know, a couple other people and stuff. A little young guy by the name of Trayvon who wrote a book. You know, his mama, McKenna, all of us, you know, putting the project together. You know, my man Cool Breeze, James Gray, Al Sharp, the VP for the Bronx. We was all on our way to conduct that business, man. And when we got in Atlanta, we got the call. James was like, man, turn around. I said, why? He said, man, they just shut everything down. Ice-T, he was flying in. Doug Century is one of the co-authors that I hired to work with Ice-T on his book, and he didn't come. The guy that's going to be doing the book with him out of New York, he didn't come because LA, because their planes were grounded. You know, they had a no-fly zone, no travel ban, so it was like, wow, you know, everything was come to a halt. So I get in Atlanta, and while I'm in Atlanta, you know, they pose a curfew. Trump come on TV saying, you know, it's a 10 people limited gathering. You know, all the bars was going to get closed.
Right. And
then I found out that all the casinos was closed. Now, at this point, I'm getting to start to worry. I said, you got the bars closed, you got the casino closed. The union told General Motors that they should close, otherwise they're going to have an imposed strike. You know, other things were closing, and everything was closing. I was saying to myself, this is crazy. They want everybody to self-quarantine, but at the same time, you know, how are people going to survive? You know, how are people going to take care of themselves? You know, if you got people at the airport getting laid off, you got people in the industries getting laid off. You got people, you know, not being able to go to bars, people not being able to sustain themselves, people not being able to gather more than 10 people. What's going to happen? You got a whole bunch of people sitting at home. Some people going to have money. Some people going to be able to sustain themselves. Some people are going to be able to buy food, clothes, and shelter, and others is not. What happens when your stomach starts touching your back? We all know that people hungry, they do only one thing. They go and try to get food. Now, if they can't find food in the immediate environment, then they start kicking doors in. You start seeing, you know, episodes like The Purge. You start seeing people killing each other. You start seeing people breaking people's houses and people walking up to people with a hamburger in their hands saying, give me the hamburger. The money become obsolete. You know, in a society, the government can print money. The National Treasury can print money, and they can put money into society, and they can fuse the society with money, and that makes the economy spin. Because it's an illusionary control through a paper dollar bill. But when the dollar bill don't have no value, what happens? You know, when people are hungry, what happens? You know, you got mass hysteria. So the corona disease is horrific. It's crazy. What's more crazy is the effects of corona. You know, how people are going to be killing each other, how people are going to be walking up to people, blowing their brains out just to eat, how people are going to be staying in their house. I mean, family going to turn on family. You know, people are going to be like hungry. People are going to go to their next door neighbor house and say, you got anything to eat over here? Help me out, please. And when they don't help them out, they're going to bust the door down and come in with the pistol. They're going to kill them. And then that's when they're going to create martial law. When martial law comes, the army going to be everywhere. And the army going to be killing people, and people are going to be trying to kill the people in the army because they hungry, they delirious. You know, they can't think. You know, they hallucinate. It's like being in a desert. You ever see the movies in the desert when people be hungry? They hallucinate. They think they see food. They think they see people and stuff like that. And that's what hunger do. You know what I mean? It causes you to think
Ken,
crazy.
Let me say this. Have you seen, I want to say on the news just today, this the, 17th or whatever, they said that, you know, Trump came on, I guess, you know, he wants the Treasury to cut checks to the American people as soon as possible, at least less than 2 weeks. What do you think about that offering towards that?
Well, you know, that goes into the whole theory. You know, I can't get my hands around this. I'm a scientist. I'm a practitioner. I'm a strategist. I know all type of wisdom and all type of knowledge. I've read all type of books. But for some reason, Reek, I cannot get my hand around what's going on. Because I try to say it's a government conspiracy, but what debunks that is that when I think about all of the people that they are laying off, all of the casinos closing, and all this stuff happening, that means they're not receiving any taxes. See what I'm saying? So I can't say it's a government conspiracy because it's actually anti-government. The government is acting anti-itself. I can't say that it's the rich people because the rich people is getting the same effect of this disease as the poor people. So when I say, when I see the government giving $1,000 or whatever they give it to it, that just enhances the severity of what I'm already thinking. Which is that, man, this is something extremely serious that I cannot put my thumb on it. I usually put my thumb on something, but I can't put my thumb on it because it's too astronomical. It's too ginormous for me to figure it out. Because I try to always say, you know, the rich is doing this or the rich is doing that or this person is doing that. And I try to equate it to biochemical warfare, which is probably closest to a prognosis that I can get that would make the most sense. But at the same time, even that baffles me. Because I'm saying, why would they create a biochemical that would kill everybody or that would cause mass hysteria on the entire world? Now, I can see them imposing on maybe, you know, a Arab country or a country, you know, the Arabs doing it to the Israelis and the Israelis doing it to the Arabs because they are arch enemies. I can understand that. I can understand China doing something like that. I can understand America doing something like that, but I can't understand any person who would impose that on any other person would impose that without looking at the possibility that it may harm them and their people also. So it's like, I'm just really baffled by it, but I do understand, you know, that the effects and the aftermath of this disease is going to be far more greater than the actual disease. I know there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people killing each other. It's going to be a lot of people starving. You know, the government going to kill a lot of people. A lot of people are probably going to get let out of prison just so they can get killed. And maybe it's a population thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a biochemical warfare that went wrong. That they didn't do the entire mathematics on it and the entire breakdown on it. But whatever, you know, giving somebody some food, it's not going to be the source. You know, Trump, I know he want to make a political gesture. I know he want to make himself look good. But you're going to need more than one check. The only thing that I can see these people doing that would make logical sense to me, the only thing that would make logical sense to me is for them to actually get a group of people who are competent, summon them into a specific geographical location. You'll have the Corps Army engineer, have them come and build tents. And these people, their job is specifically to grow food and deal with food. And they wear protective armor and everything else, and they can disperse the food out to the people, you know, and they deal specifically with food because money ain't going to help. Because once people...
Let's back up now. On all your years of being on this small planet, Have you ever seen anything to this magnitude that you would seem that is on the same level as what's going on right now?
Only on TV. Now I was watching on Netflix this movie called Pandemic, and they was talking about that this happened in 1919. They said that the Chinese had a couple episodes with pandemics and so on and so forth, and you got people who go in and just study these diseases and so on and so forth. So they said that it's been small increment aspects of it. However, in my life, I've never seen nothing like this. And I got a partner, he got a house that's 10,000 square foot. He lived way out there in Alpharetta. And I was over by his house yesterday, and we were just talking, and he was talking about he got asthma and so on and so forth, and that, he feels safe at home. So he went and bought thousands and thousands of dollars worth of food, and he got his children. He invited his immediate family to come out there. And I said, you know what? I said, now, I was watching on Fox, and this was in correlation to the conversation we was had. I said, I was watching on Fox News where they talk about the Velvet Rope, this guy that wrote the Velvet Rope. And in the book, The Velvet Rope, what he was talking about was like, people always down rich people. They always talk about money is the root of all evil and this and another. He said, but in these times, this is the only thing that can save you is money. Because now all of the rich people are buying all the bunkers, to protect the bunkers that keep the disease from entering into their domain, seal them off from the disease. They're taking their yachts and they de-docking their yachts. They're going out into the ocean away from disease. They're not going into the public transportation. They're going and they hire private jets and so on and so forth because they got the money. They got villas and they got vacation homes way into the mountains. They retrieve into these homes and so on and so forth. So this guy was saying, this should make people rethink money. This is why you need money in times like this. People always castigating and always belittling people that got money. But this is the only time where money can really help you in terms of securing you and taking you up out of the circumstances or in the atmosphere of this massive, crazy disease. So yes, I mean, this is strange. This is the first time I've seen something like this. My partner and I were talking about it. He have a lot of money, a lot of businesses, but the man said he ain't even going to his businesses no more until this stuff is over with. Think of all the people that lost. The stock went down 23,000%. Think of all the people that lost money. Right now, man, money, wealth, all that stuff is obsolete. If you don't have the people to work for you, if people not working in General Motors, if they're not working on the New York Stock Exchange, if they're not working in all these bureaucracies and all these government agencies, then what's the use of being rich? When you don't have no workers, you don't have people who can sustain themselves. The mayor of Atlanta just put on her page, if you go on the mayor of Atlanta page, she just put on her page that there won't be no evictions for the next 2 months. So what's the use of being a realtor when you can't even collect rent? And if you kick the people out, it still don't have no value. You don't have nobody that you can get to rent because there's no money. There's no circulation in the economy.
True.
But the only thing
I was gonna say, tell me this. I know, people say follow the money. That'll give you the answers. Well, remember last week when the stock went down, they injected 1.5 trillion into the stock market, and it still went down. And then I just hear today they injected some more money into. So the total money that they done injected into the stock, New York Stock Exchange, is $3.2 trillion.
Well, the Bible say you're gonna reap what you sow, and it's strange. And I'm not trying to, belittle anyone, but people have been taking money. The 1% have been controlling this country for many, many, many years. The Rockefellers, the Gettys, the DuPonts, the Chase, the Carnegies, and and some of the latest ones, And, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of disparity in wealth. You know what I mean? And the Bible says you're going to reap what you sow, man. And what goes around comes around. Man, these people, all these people that amassed all this money and took all this money from all these people, man, and took the money and put it in a certain segment of society, those is their turn, man. It's their turn to actually, really feel what poor people feel, because now everybody that's rich is all of a sudden poor now. Your house, your $1 million house don't mean nothing, because nobody want to live in the house. People just want to live. It didn't get real ugly out here. And these people, man, they were just too greedy, man. And they may have created the mindset, of a mad scientist, somebody who would, be willing to create some type of pandemic or some type of disease, epidemic that would, affect the entire world. Because, they said that it was made, they said that it come from an animal and whatever, but we know that whoever can cure disease, we know every type of flu that we encounter, they got some type of vaccine for it.
Yeah,
so,
I already done seen where they say there's a patent number for it, like it's a patent number for AIDS and everything.
What I'm saying though, brother, if they can cure it, they can make it. So we know that it was a manufactured disease. We understand that AIDS was a manufactured disease. There's a lot of manufactured disease, like we talked about in the last thing about manufactured disease. So they made this disease. Whoever made it obviously must not have been too financially secure. Wasn't thinking about finance. They was thinking about mass destruction. And the rich people, this is took them by surprise, like even Donald Trump. Initially, he tried to act like it didn't exist because they live in such a false reality. They live in such a reality that deals with privilege that they don't understand, that this can happen to them. We tripping, but imagine what the rich people think. Like I said, my man, he's super rich. He's living out there in Alpharetta, 10,000 square foot. He got 4 Rolls Royces in his parking lot. All of a sudden, it's obsolete. You know what I'm saying? It's obsolete. His jury's obsolete. And all he talking about, man, Ken, I'm just trying to take care of my family. I'm just trying to make sure my family's straight, man. He said, I don't care nothing about this money. And people losing in the stock market, people losing in all type of investments. They said that we're going to have over 1,000 bankruptcy within the next 3 or 4 months. They said that every company that was considered profitable, with the exception of Walmart and your convenience and your grocery stores, is going to reach havoc on them.
Now tell me what happened to the small business owners and things like that.
Well, this affects everyone, bro. That's why I said you're going to see mass hysteria. That's why I said you're going to see people killing each other over hamburgers. That's why you see people going and buy more guns. That's why people buying bullets and ammunition, because even everybody, listen, everybody's finna catch hell. Just think of the people that own the airlines. All them people that own the airline, all of a sudden, dramatically, their life has a dramatic change. They no longer is selling flights. They no longer have employees. They're no longer in business. All of the business that's at the airport is not functional. I went to get a rental car the other day. He said, I'm only the second person that rent a car. They said that the business had collapsed. I looked around at the airport, all of the rental car places was closed. This is really serious, brother. We got to literally, man. I went to the bank. I went to the bank. I got my money up out of there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, man. I got my money up out of there. I'm like, man, at least I know I can give me a hamburger or something, or some soup. If something happened. Because the banks is they should go bankrupt too, because the banks is the one who finances all these businesses. Every business in America is financed by the banking system. So if these businesses can't pay their bills, what happened? The banks go under, right?
Right.
So this whole, we're going to have to revamp our entire, money is not going to be valuable no more. Value is going to be something else. You're going to get rich based on something else. It's not going to be based on what we traditionally see. It might be cryptocurrency. They
even did bad in the stock. They went down dramatically. That cryptocurrency.
Yes, it's Ice-T. I was talking to him today. He said one of his friends lost $3 million in the stock market in like 5 minutes. Yeah, so people is losing money in the stock market. They losing money in every sector of society. People are losing money. There's not one sector that is excluded. The teachers is not working. How they gonna pay their bills? You know, kids is getting sent home to school. How are they gonna pay for daycare? You know, the government can talk, America talk about this superpower all they want, but we are actually witnessing the fall of Babylon, the fall of Rome. You know, the Roman government is dying. You know, then you look at Africa doing well over there. You know what I'm saying? Some of those countries, they still functional. It's just that the way American economy is set up is so wicked and so crooked that so many people then took so much out of the system, you know, and they control so much out of the system that people who need to be able to control themselves and need certain resources, they can't get access to them because they dominated by a certain segment of society. The 1% control everything. So the fact that they control everything, when something falls from the top, it go all the way to the bottom.
Now listen to this. You know? I done had a couple of people that listen to the podcast. They was like, well, Reek, what about, you know, the sisters that, you know, are on assistance? You know, how certain counties are just shutting down. You know, what are they?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Listen, I had an accident about 2 months ago. My court day was Monday because I'm refuting the accident. You know, the police lied and said that it was my fault, so I'm refuting it. I was supposed to go to court Monday. You know what they told me? Your court date has been suspended indefinitely until further notice. My partner is on probation. You know what his probation officer told him? You don't have to show up until the next 2 months. You know, we don't have no thing. My other partner in jail, he was supposed to get out 2 days ago. They told him that he got to stay in there until further notice, until they find out how they're going to release him and how they update their system. So everything is down. Just think, for example, if the police pull me over right now and I got corona and the police pull me over, what you think the police going to do? He going to do what he always do. He going to hold me up and handcuff me, touch me. Guess what? Say if I spit in his face, what he going to get? He going to get corona, right?
Right.
He might not know it. He might not show no symptoms. He might not even think about it because this is a relatively new disease. He spread it throughout the entire police department. What happened? They quarantined every police officer that been in there that day, and 40% of that force in that district is gone. And then it creates mass hysteria amongst police and police, you know, mass fear. You know, and they be like, man, I'm not going to be a police. You know, this stuff is getting bad. And then the fire department say the same thing. Then the Army Reserve say the same thing. Now everybody is spending for themselves. We go back to the Wild Wild West. Those people that's on public assistance that we can't get no food, what they going to do? They're going to go out there. It's going to be just like the movie The Purge. They're going to go out there. They're going to start killing for food. You have no other choice. Either you die or you survive. Survival of the fittest. And you know it's going to be groups and gangs and different segments of people that's going to work together to survive. They're going to have to work together to survive. It's going to be the white against the black against the white. It's going to be black and white together. It's going to be this group against the police department. You know, if they don't get a hold to it, if they don't get a hold of it, this is the scenario. There's no other scenario. If you're hungry, you're going to kill for food. You know what I mean? I mean, if you ever look at those videos of wild animals, and you see how if a lion haven't ate in a long time, he would challenge the biggest creature in the jungle.
Right. But
as long as he eating, he gonna try to stay to those little deers or whatever you call them things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he gonna hunt stuff that he know that he can overpower.
Right.
But because he's hungry, it's gonna cause him to act irrational. And sometimes, you know, if they hunt the wrong thing, Even the lion can get killed, you know, if he mess with the wrong animal. So what I'm saying is that hunger is going to fuse all of this destruction. It's going to fuse this mass hysteria, you know. So that's what people ain't really understanding. It ain't the disease. You know, they said some people can survive on the disease, but in order to control it, the government, as of today, have to tell people, look, do not congregate, you know, self-quarantine, you know, stay out the way. And I have not heard yet, not one iota of a government agent or an authority or a scientist say what to do when you get the disease. Nobody said take an aspirin. Nobody said take 2 glasses of water. Nobody they just tell you to stay home. That's the only thing that they're saying is stay home. They're not telling you what to do when you stay home. Just don't go out. Because, hey man, we in the uproar, man. We in a major crisis in this country, and people are not understanding the severity of what's going on. You know, like I said, you know, I'm finna go to Milwaukee, get my kids, and we finna strap up, and I'm gonna let them know, look, somebody might be coming through this door any minute. We're going to put barricades on this door because people are going to be going door to door looking for food if they ain't got no food. You know, I mean, just like you see a dog, a stray dog out there looking in the garbage can and looking all over it for food, acting crazy, that's how they be. You know, that's so human beings, it's the same way. Now, if it is a population control move, then the way they're going to be able to control the population is they let the people go crazy. Because, you know, even worse at best, you know, they should have said, okay, y'all keep on going throughout your daily activities. Now, some of y'all going to die, and some of y'all going to survive. But you don't shut the whole government down. You know what I'm saying? You don't shut everything down. You know, there's going to have to be some sacrifices. But you taking a situation that's bad and making it worse. To tell everybody they can't go to work, to shut the airlines down, to shut all the tourist places down, to cut all the hotels and all that stuff down. You know, I mean, you trying to prevent some deaths. It seems like you're gonna create more deaths than you prevent.
Right, but do you think, you know, when the dust settles, because a lot of people think, oh, we'll just be back to normal business. I think it's something else that's going to be born out of this. What I'm thinking is,
Rick, we're going through a major depression now. Did you know what she said? The stock market, they infused $22.3 trillion in the economy and it still failed.
Yeah, well, 3.2 trillion. Yeah, and it's still
3.2 trillion, and you said it still didn't work.
Right.
That means that we are going through a mass depression. This is worse than 1930. You know what I'm saying? You know, in 1930, you know, people was killing themselves and people was starving. People, you know, I mean, we're going to relive that same moment. You know, we're going to relive that same moment unless all of these entities agree that we're one human family and Walmart and everybody just started giving people food. You know, that's probably the only thing that we band together as a unit and say, look, hey man, come on into this Love's gas station and get all the food y'all need, or come here and get all the gas you want. Everything is free until we figure this out. You know, we're going to go from a capitalist society to a socialist, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, a work together society. You know, but we've got to come up with something. You know, either everybody going to be able to eat, and everybody going to support each other, or everybody going to take from each other. And the economy is done. You know, I mean, how you gonna make all that money back, all them flights? You see what I'm saying? Right. And at best, the rich people are going to be poor. Their money's going to be obsolete. Like I said, they might come with a whole entire new currency. You know, might redo the entire government. We might have to come with a whole new system.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying digital currency. You know, where they build it more.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing to do now. This is the time for all Americans to come together and say, look, the people who got this thing under control, and say we got to kick all the governments out, kick the president out, kick everybody out, and start all over. You know, have a society that's fair and that's that's a coalition that's based on equality, because right now you got too much inequality in the system, and this is because people don't care. All they care about is their bottom line, their money. And as a result of that, it causes them to make irrational decisions. They make decisions for money and not decisions for humanity. You make decisions for humanity, you make decisions for the human family as a whole, as opposed to, a few individuals. And that's what we've been living by, Trump, all them people, man. Them people don't care nothing about nobody, man. All these rich people, man, it's crazy how white people and some black people be like, man, I'm Trump, man. And they don't even know, man, Trump got gold in his airplanes. He got gold in his bathroom. This man have never lived an impoverished life. This man he can't even fathom what poor people go through. But all these poor people, because of racism and because of indoctrination and cultism, they want to follow this man. We need to get rid of all of these guys. Joe Biden, all of them, man. Ain't none of them no good. We need to get us some real people in the White House, some real people in the Senate and the Congress. We need to get rid of all these crooked judges that, vote with their parties and still, make decisions on party basis instead of on reality basis. Once you get rid of all that stuff, we got a big enough economy and a big enough country where we can straighten ourselves out. But the rich people, the 1% that control all of this, we got to do something about this. I'm kind of thinking that maybe a country that's controlled by the people for the people might be the best way instead of a capitalistic society where only the strong survive, because the strong will always out survive the weak. But if you don't disperse the money equally and everybody get a fair chance and everybody is winning, then I think that's when when you have situations like this, these people can't think rational because they're thinking, oh, I'm losing my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? The economy is bad. The stock market is going down. They don't say this is when I should come together and help my fellow countryman or, my fellow American. They don't think of it under those terms because they've been winning so long and they come from generational wealth that they never really feel what's going on right now. They need to feel this. Sometimes you need a wake-up call. I don't think that all people should suffer and all people should go through what we're going through right now. But I think that it should be something to shake up the way this country is being governed and the way these people are dispersing wealth in this country. It's a disparity, over, 85% of the wealth has been maldistributed into the hands of the dominant rich, the 1%. 15% is only available to the common everyday layman, and every so often someone will get enough money when they become successful, but on the aggregate, in the bigger scheme of things, you only have a specific group of people who take and don't give nothing back and pass it on, and they got not one house, they got two houses, they got 30, 40 mansions excess of $10 million or better. They got yachts worth $200-300 million. They got planes worth $50-60 million. And people living up on the bridges in downtown Dallas, or off the highways and byways. People living off the highways and byways over there in Chicago. You drive down Chicago, you go down Roosevelt, and you look to your right or to your left, you see people outside in 20 below zero in tents. Tents, and the police drive past them and act like it don't even exist. You got people in L.A. living up under bridges, poor as hell, and we're supposed to be the richest country on earth. I travel at least 3 times a month. I go throughout the whole globe. I look at all of these different areas where it's just massive land, cornfields and all kind of fields. I'm just saying, nobody inhabit those lands. And they say that, we have a scarce. No, it's one person owning too much land. It should be a rule that no one can own no more than maybe at the most 30 acres. But when somebody owns 1 billion acres, they own the entire state of Iowa or the entire state of Wisconsin. You know, and they control all of the corn that coming throughout the country, the milk and all that. You know, that's disparity. You know what I'm saying? That's not right. And that's why those people catch hell. You know, when hell come, they catch hell because they got everything. They the one lose. Ain't nobody poor losing. You already lost if you poor. You know, I mean, we talking about the stock market. Who you think is hurting? It's not hurting you or me. It's hurting the rich because they don't equally distribute the wealth. You know, so this disease is gonna, you know, put everything in perspective. You know what I mean? Everybody gonna get a chance to, you know, get a dose of it, and we're gonna see how it play out. Now, hopefully, what I hope for, I hope that poor people come out on top. And I hope that the rich people will realize that, you know, they can't just take all of the money. You know, they got to leave some of the money on the floor, you know, on the first floor. Because on the first floor is where it go down, you know, where, you know, you have your workers and you have people who strive hard to make a living, who work paycheck to paycheck. Those are the people who catching hell.
Right.
So now you see that these are the people that's catching hell, but these are the same people that uphold you. You can't be rich if it wasn't no poor. You gotta have poor people to be rich. You know, you can't even have a class system without a lower class. You know, if you say lower class, middle class, high class, well, you still need a lower class in order to be a high class. If everybody was high class, it'd still be a lower class because somebody has some more than somebody, and somebody have just a little bit more than them, and they trigger on down to the low class, to the high class on up. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, we have to figure out how to make a equal class where everybody can win. And then, you know, when diseases like this happen, everybody be prepared for it. You know, this person have enough money to bunker down over here. This person have enough money to bunker down over there, and so on and so forth. I did your whole thing that time. I was just fucking with you. I said, I did reach outro.
This is my book, The Art of Human Chess. It's a bestseller, New York best time seller. This book here sold millions, sold all over the world, all throughout the prison system. This is the book, The 48 Laws of Game Pimpology. Make sure you get these books. If you don't want to buy the hardcover, if you don't want to buy the paperback, then the best thing to do is go to iTunes on your cell phone and type in my name, Pimpin' Ken, and I guarantee you the book will pop up. If that don't work, go to audible.com, type in my name. If that don't work, go to amazon.com, type in my name. Anywhere books is sold all over the country, you can get my books. These are my best-selling books. You hear people talk about them all the time on Instagram, on Snapchat. These are definitely some good reads. Please get my book. I guarantee you that you will never be the same. Your life will be impacted, and also your life will be enhanced just by getting these two books, The Art of Human Chess and The 48 Laws of Game. Just like the 48 Laws of Power, just like The Art of War.
Too cool to count 24/7.